It is Sunday evening, and we don't change hands. I've got Butkus out here with me. Butkus, they fed you too much, buddy. I wouldn't say that, I mean, he's okay on a leash, but he's not. He doesn't seem to know to stay on the left side. That's what I'm trying to say. He's a little bit lost. But he's doing better about not running ahead of me, see? You know, I've got this really cool stick, but I don't know where it's at. But it does make for a better video when you're... I need my drone. No, you're on the wrong side. So, but he's doing good about not trying to run ahead of me. So I think that his problem is when he's in his element and he's pushy. He's not in his element. Wait till he sees a horse. Oh, here comes somebody. So he needs to give to me. Here, let's get over here. Come on. They're going fast. Come here. Stay with me. Don't get after the car. He goes, whoa. I think Goody is car aggressive. She's like, get him. Get him. Go get him. Get him. He got the sweet puppy. He's just been allowed to... I'm going to do his nails tonight, and that'll be another rodeo. But I'll tell you a story. One time I had these people. He wasn't a doctor. I think he was a radiologist. And he sent a dog back to me, but he didn't tell his children that he was going to send this dog back. And when they found out, they came unglued. And they were older teenagers, 12, 14 maybe, the twins were, and then I think one older. Anyway, the dog was a good dog. He just had been allowed to think that he ran the family. And when she told me that her husband, well, anyway, so the husband sends the wife to me for a couple days of working with this dog, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful experience for her. And I wish they would contact me, because the few follow-ups we did, we need pee-pee, he just squat and pee, he's so young. The few follow-ups that we did were good. They were getting the hang of it. But when she told me that they could not hug, or he got upset, the dog, that told me the dog was ruling the family and no one was in control but the dog. So they were a long ways away. They weren't Georgia, maybe they were Alabama. They were a long ways away. Louisiana. I don't remember now. I'd have to look it up. Come here, get over here. You're okay, come here. So she drives, and she pulls up in this black, I think it was an Escalade. She steps out. She looked like something stepped off the cover of a magazine. I mean, she was beautiful and blonde and petite. And so she worked hard. And she wasn't no dummy, though. She was smart. And we worked hard that day, and she came back the next day. We worked hard the next day. And I don't remember if she took him home that day or she took him home the next day. And he was a different dog after spending a couple weeks with me. Now, I like this. See how he's just on a loose lead? He's just decided to... No. I'm just going to turn around because he did that. He tried to move up ahead. I'm just going to turn around again because he doesn't need to be leading this pack because he doesn't know where we're going. You don't know where we're going. So you just need to follow the leader here. That's what we're playing. So anyway, this was my story about the dog. They said he's horse aggressive. And I'm like, well, okay. So we had horses everywhere. This was when I lived in Goshen. And we lived next to the riding arena. So I took him, we were walking down the road. My neighbor had horses. I took him up to a horse. And the reason he was horse aggressive is because he was afraid. And he did. He came unglued. He tried to attack those horses. So I disciplined him. And so here's the thing. If you let the dog know that he doesn't have to protect himself, and he doesn't have to protect you against a horse. Now, it would be different if there was a home invader, but I'm talking about in public and on a walk. They shouldn't think they have to protect you against every dog that comes up, or every tree, or every bush, or every cow, or every horse, or every cat. They don't need to protect you. That's just not normal. How you doing, buddy? Let me switch hands. So anyway, the next day, I wish I could remember her name. It was a very beautiful lady. We're walking down the road just like this. We're just walking. Actually, it's been a long time since I've got to walk. This feels so good. The sun is setting. And I typically do carry you can see, I carry a switch because I don't want another dog walking up to my dog. Among other things. So I don't know if I had a little horse cord or an actual switch off a tree. You can just cut your little switch. Works great. I got switched plenty as a child. So some rambunctious, loud child. And we're walking and talking. Now see, he's very concerned about the cattle because no one has protected him. He's felt like he had to protect himself. See, he's very upset about the cattle. All right. I've got this. Come on. I've got this. Come on. Looks like I just noticed, looks like he needs dipped in sulfur. Looks like he's got a little patchy hair. Come on. Good boy. Now, see, he gave to me. He trusts me. He goes, okay, this is good. Now, if the cattle start chasing us, he might feel differently. Great. These cattle, it's cool weather. They're going to chase us. They're going to chase us. I don't know if you can see them. You could probably hear them. So he's very concerned. He's very, very concerned. I know this is a terrible video. Come here. Come here. He's a beautiful dog. He gonna be a good boy. He's just a puppy. Okay. So this is good. And I heard this other lady do a video on this, and I really respect her. And she said, when should we be concerned about another dog? When should we look and when should we ignore it? That's important for your dog to trust you. When should you look and when should you ignore it? And so we were talking, she was talking about that, and she had some great advice. I wish I could remember her name. She's just on Facebook. So there's probably a dozen cows. Now here they come. Now let's see what he does. Now, he doesn't know they can't get to us. See, he doesn't know there's a fence there and they can't get to us. He doesn't know that. Pretty boy. Gosh, he's fat. Good boy. Good boy. Now, what that other dog did was go try to attack. And so that's not the right response we're wanting. Good boy, Butkus. Oh, he's a good boy. He looks just like his mama, Cinnamon. That's exactly what I want. I want him to settle, relax, and just come with me. See? That's exactly what we want. So anyway, to finish my story about the beautiful lady, as we're walking side by side, I had the switch in my hand, and I needed her. I wouldn't do this to everybody, and I've never done it before, and I don't think I've ever done it after. I needed this lady to take home an impressionable lesson that she would never forget. And I was trying to get her to wrap her mind around the fact this dog does not respect you because you're not demanding his respect. You're not commanding his respect. He's walking all over you and you're letting him. And I had that switch in my hand, and I reached down and I whacked her on the leg as hard as I could. And she screamed and she jumped sideways. And I said, when you correct this dog, I want you to mean it. I said, you don't have to be mean to mean it, but you need to mean it. This was an adult 2-year-old bull mastiff male. I said, if you're not going to mean it, it could cost this dog his life. The dog had got into an altercation with another dog, and in the ruckus, had bit either his human's hand, because that's not how you break up a dog fight. You break up a dog fight by grabbing the rear legs and pulling them off the ground and destabilizing them, and you pull the dogs apart that way. Don't put your hand up there around their collar. People try to grab their collar and you're just going to get bit. Besides the fact, it's very difficult with all the jostling in the front, you know, to grab a collar. So yeah, we're gonna get in half a mile. I have been jumping on my trampoline, but I haven't been out walking. So feels fantastic. We live in a dead-end dirt road. Actually, this is my husband's cousin. This is some of the first property that my husband's family sold was these 240s here. And yeah, they used to own all this property on both sides of the road, all the way down for a mile. But that was a long time ago when we had cattle, milk cows. They had milk cows. Anyway, the lady never, trust me, it raised the hide on her leg. I hope it didn't bruise her, but if she did take home a bruise, she took home a lesson she'll never forget. You need to insist that this dog obey you, and you need to mean it. When you give him a command, it's not a suggestion, it is not a request. When I tell my dogs to kennel up, it's not a suggestion, and it's not a request. These dogs are big enough to kill one another, and I have got to have control of them. It's not a suggestion, and it's not a request. You look like you're given to your right front. That's weird. Now, they have had him so fat, he may have a touch of pano. I hope not, but man, they've got him round. Now, I'll probably turn back. If I had somebody with me videoing, I can't believe I'm huffing and puffing. This neighbor has a lot of dogs, and if I had someone else videoing and I could use my right hand for a switch, I'd walk up there, but there's no reason to upset their dogs. Anyway, my point is, you know, our lessons in life, sometimes life gives us lessons, and if you're not in control of this dog, the dog's going to try to control you. So the truth is, when the puppy comes home, you're his new pack, and his life depends on the answers to these questions. Who's the smartest, the strongest, the bravest, the fastest in this pack? And if you're not it, why should he follow you? It's my sweet neighbors. These are twins, Kate and Cord. I just love them. They're precious neighbors. We love all our neighbors. So they're the ones that live at the end of the road. Actually, Emmy's daddy owns that 100 that dead ends down there. We walked down there. There's a cave, and it's a great 3 miles to go down there, flip around, and come back. You could ski down these hills. That's how steep they are. Anyway, I love, love, love where I live. I'm a transplant from West Texas, where annual rainfall is 12 inches. That's an inch a month. It's the desert. And love, love, love where I live. This has been good. One of the most powerful things you can do with your dog is walk and prove to them you're the bravest, the fastest, the strongest, and the smartest. And that you do that walking with them, protecting them, especially when they're young, when you're walking. Some people are like, why would I buy a protection dog if I'm protecting them? This is what you think about this. This dog is 8 months old. It's different when you're, so say he's 12 to 15 in human years. It's different when he's 2 years old and he's 20. That's a big difference. A 20-year-old man can protect you, but would you insist that your 12-year-old protect you? No, absolutely not. So when you get a little 8-week-old puppy and you get them out in public, you have to protect them. And when you do, they feel so confident that you are smart enough and brave enough and strong enough to protect them. And if you are, then as they're adults, they know how to act. They know how to be calm and confident. And I should do a whole nother video on this. One of the worst things you can do, sorry, my nose is running. One of the worst things you can do for your dog is to, and I'm not saying I'm not guilty of this, I am sometimes, but This is not a good thing to start talking high-pitched baby talk. Don't do that, because that's emotionally unstable. Do not think that the pack leader goes up to those lower ranking in the pack and starts baby talking with them. He doesn't. He doesn't. So I would like a little more for him to stay behind me. I love that he's confident. He's a confident little dude, you know. And I think that he has walked his humans quite a bit. I think this is habit. He's walked his humans quite a bit. But he's not pulling on me too bad. So the way to use the pinch collar is if they apply more than, I say, about 2 pounds of pressure, then you need to correct them. And correcting them is to pull and release. See how loose this is? If you have a tight lead, you're just teaching your dog to pull against you. So you pull and release if they begin to pull against you. I like for the dogs to be confident. I like, unless I have them on a heel, I like for them to smell the smells. And if they've been in the house or in a crate, you know, you want them to get out and experience, smell the smells and see the sights. And this is so good for them emotionally. So good. And it's great bonding, because the message that you're giving your dog is we're having fun together and we're enjoying our life, and you can trust me and I can trust you. So, yeah, that's important. Be definitive when you answer that question. When they ask you, who's the bravest, who's the smartest, who's the fastest, who's the strongest in this pack, it better be you, or you have no business owning a bull mastiff. So that's, I'm going to goodbye on that.